The Witch of Coos by Robert Frost. I stayed the night for shelter at a farm behind the mountains with a mother and son, two old believers. They did all the talking. Mother's about 67 years old, son about 45, 47. Mother says, "Folks think a witch who has familiar spirits she could call up to pass a winter evening, but won't, should be burned at the stake or something. Summoning spirits isn't button who's got the button, I would have them know." And the son says, "Mother can make a common table, rear and kick with 2 legs, like an army mule." And the mother says, "And when I've done it, what good have I done? Rather than tip a table for you, let me tell you what Ral, the Sioux Control, once told me. He said the dead had souls. But when I asked him, how could that be? I thought the dead were souls. He broke my trance. Don't that make you suspicious that there's something the dead are keeping back? Yes, there's something the dead are keeping back." And the son says, "You wouldn't want to tell him what we have up attic, Mother." And the mother says, "Bones, a skeleton." And the son says, "But the headboard of Mother's bed is pushed against the attic door. The door is nailed. It's harmless. Mother hears it in the night, halting perplexed behind the barrier of door and headboard. Where it wants to get is back into the cellar where it came from." And the mother says, "We'll never let them, will we, son? We'll never." And the son says, "It left the cellar 40 years ago and carried itself like a pile of dishes up one flight from the cellar to the kitchen, another from the kitchen to the bedroom, another from the bedroom to the attic, right past both father and mother, and neither stopped it. Father had gone upstairs. Mother was downstairs. I was a baby. I don't know where I was." And the mother says, "The only fault my husband found with me, I went to sleep before I went to bed, especially in winter when the bed might just as well be ice and the clothes snow. The night the bones came up the cellar stairs, Toffel had gone to bed alone and left me, but left an open door to cool the room off so as to sort of turn me out of it. I was just coming to myself enough to wonder where the cold was coming from when I heard Toffel upstairs in the bedroom and thought I heard him downstairs in the cellar. The board we had laid down to walk dry shod on when there was water in the cellar in spring struck the hard cellar bottom. And then someone began the stairs, 2 footsteps for each step, the way a man with 1 leg and a crutch or a little child comes up. It wasn't Toffel. It wasn't anyone who could be there. The bulkhead double doors were double locked and swollen tight and buried under snow. The cellar windows were banked up with sawdust and swollen tight and buried under snow. It was the bones. I knew them, and good reason. My first impulse was to get to the knob and hold the door, but the bones didn't try the door. They halted helpless on the landing, waiting for things to happen in their favor. The faintest restless rustling ran all through them. I never could have done the thing I did if the wish hadn't been too strong in me to see how they were mounted for this walk. I had a vision of 'em put together not like a man, but like a chandelier. So suddenly I flung the door wide on him. A moment he stood balancing with emotion and all but lost himself. A tongue of fire flashed out and licked along his upper teeth. Smoke rolled inside the sockets of his eyes. Then he came at me with one hand outstretched, the way he did in life once. But this time I struck the hand off brittle to the floor and fell back from him on the floor myself. The finger pieces slid in all directions. Where did I see one of those pieces lately? Hand me my button box. It must be there. I sat up on the floor and shouted, "Toffel, it's coming up to you." It had its choice of the door to the cellar or the hall. It took the hall door for the novelty and set off briskly for so slow a thing, still going every which way in the joints, though, so that it looked like lightning or a scribble from the slap I had just now given its hand. I listened till it almost climbed the stairs from the hall to the only finished bedroom before I got up to do anything. Then ran and shouted, "Shut the bedroom door, Toffel, for my sake." "Company," he said. "Don't make me get up. I'm too warm in bed." So, lying forward weakly on the handrail, I pushed myself upstairs, and in the light, the kitchen had been dark. I had to own I could see nothing. "Toffel, I don't see it. It's with us in the room, though. It's the bones." "What bones?" "The cellar bones, out of the grave." That made him throw his bare legs out of bed and sit up by me and take hold of me. I wanted to put out the light and see if I could see it, or else mow the room with our arms at the level of our knees and bring the chalk pile down. I'll tell you what, it's looking for another door to try. The uncommonly deep snow has made him think of his old song, "The Wild Colonial Boy," he always used to sing along the tote road. He's after an open door to get outdoors. Let's trap him with an open door up attic. Toffel agreed to that, and sure enough, almost the moment he was given an opening, the steps began to climb the attic stairs. I heard them. Toffel didn't seem to hear them. Quick, I slammed to the door and held the knob. "Toffel, get nails." I made him nail the door shut and push the headboard of the bed against it. Then we asked, was there anything up attic that we'd ever want again? The attic was less use to us than the cellar. If the bones liked the attic, let them have it. Let them stay in the attic. When they sometimes come down the stairs at night and stand perplexed behind the door and headboard of the bed, brushing their chalky skull with chalky fingers, with sounds like the dry rattling of a shutter, that's what I sit up in the dark to say to no one any more since Toffel died. Let them stay in the attic since they went there. I promised Toffel to be cruel to them for helping them be cruel once to him. And the son says, "We think they had a grave down in the cellar." And the mother says, "We know they had a grave down in the cellar." And the son says, "We never could find out whose bones they were." And the mother says, "Yes, we could, too, son. Tell the truth for once. They were a man's his father killed for me. I mean a man he killed instead of me. The least I could do was to help dig their grave. We were about it one night in the cellar. Son knows the story, but 'twas not for him to tell the truth. Suppose the time had come. Son looks surprised to see me, and a lie we'd kept all these years between ourselves, so as to have it ready for outsiders. But tonight I don't care enough to lie. I don't remember why I ever cared. Tophel, if he were here, I don't believe could tell you why he ever cared himself. She hadn't found the finger bone she wanted among the buttons poured out in her lap. I verified the name next morning. Tophel. The rural letter box said, Tophel Lodgeway.